Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the ages, unraveling the intricacies of human ingenuity and the unrelenting pursuit of innovation. Today, we find ourselves standing at the threshold of a revolutionary moment in history, one that would forever alter the trajectory of human progress. The Wright brothers' first flight. On a windswept beach in North Carolina, two brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, were about to defy the conventions of their time, to challenge the very fabric of gravity, and to etch their names into the annals of history. But before we witness this groundbreaking achievement, let us delve into the lives of these visionary brothers and uncover the events that led them to this pivotal moment. In the late 19th century, in the humble town of Dayton, Ohio, the Wright brothers grew up surrounded by the rhythms of industry and innovation. Their father, Milton Wright, a bishop in the United Brethren Church, encouraged their curiosity, fostering an environment that nurtured their inventive spirits. The brothers' early fascination with mechanics and engineering was sparked by their mother, Susan Catherine Kerner Wright, who had a penchant for tinkering with machines. As young men, Orville and Wilbur operated a printing business and later a bicycle shop where they honed their skills in design, manufacturing, and problem-solving. The brothers' affinity for bicycles, in particular, would prove to be a crucial catalyst in their quest for flight. The principles of balance, steering, and control that they mastered while designing and building bicycles would eventually inform their approach to aerodynamics. In 1896, the death of Otto Lilienthal, a German engineer and aviation pioneer, had a profound impact on the Wright brothers. Lilienthal's work on gliders and his tragic accident served as a clarion call for Orville and Wilbur, inspiring them to pursue the dream of powered, controlled, and sustained flight. The brothers devoured every available resource on aerodynamics, poring over the works of Sir George Cayley, Octave Chanute, and other visionaries who had dared to challenge the skies. As the Wright brothers delved deeper into the mysteries of flight, they began to conduct a series of experiments with gliders, testing the boundaries of lift, drag, and thrust. In 1900, they traveled to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, a remote coastal town with consistent winds and soft sands, ideal for their gliding experiments. Over the next 3 years, the brothers refined their designs, iterated upon their failures, and slowly began to grasp the fundamental principles of aerodynamics. Their gliders, crafted with precision and care, took to the skies, dancing on the wind currents above the dunes. With each successive test, the Wright brothers gathered valuable data, refining their understanding of wing curvature, angle of attack, and control surfaces. The sands of Kitty Hawk became their proving ground, a place where theory met practice and innovation was forged in the fire of experimentation. As the Wright brothers' gliding experiments drew to a close, they began to focus on the next crucial step: powered, controlled, and sustained flight. In 1903, they returned to Kitty Hawk, armed with a newfound understanding of aerodynamics and a revolutionary design for a powered flying machine. The brothers had spent countless hours crafting their engine, a compact, four-stroke gasoline-powered unit that would provide the necessary thrust to propel their aircraft through the air. On December 12, 1903, the Wright brothers assembled their flyer, a wooden biplane with a wingspan of 40 feet, on the windswept beach at Kitty Hawk. The machine was an intricate contraption of wires, pulleys, and wooden struts, with a propeller-driven engine that would provide the necessary power to lift the aircraft off the ground. As they made their final preparations, the brothers were filled with a mix of excitement and trepidation, knowing that the success of their endeavor hung precariously in the balance. The day of the first flight, December 17, 1903, dawned cold and windy, with a gentle breeze blowing from the north. Orville, who would pilot the first attempt, took his place at the controls, while Wilbur stood alongside, ready to provide support and guidance. At 10:35 a.m., the engine roared to life and the propellers began to spin, creating a whirlwind of sand and dust as the aircraft lurched forward. The flyer moved slowly down the rail, gaining speed with each passing moment, until it finally lifted off the ground, soaring into the air for a fleeting 12 seconds. The first flight was a modest success, covering a distance of 120 feet at a height of 10 feet above the ground. However, it was only the beginning, as the Wright brothers would go on to make 3 more flights that day, each one longer and more successful than the last. The fourth and final flight, piloted by Wilbur, lasted an impressive 59 seconds, covering a distance of 852 feet. As the brothers watched their creation soar through the air, they were filled with an overwhelming sense of pride and wonder, knowing that they had achieved something truly remarkable. "We were not a bit surprised," Wilbur would later recall, "because we had done everything we could think of to make the machine successful. And we knew that the only thing that could prevent its success was something that we had not thought of." The Wright brothers' achievement was a testament to their ingenuity, perseverance, and innovative spirit, marking the beginning of a new era in aviation and forever changing the course of history. As the Wright brothers packed up their flyer and headed back to Dayton, Ohio, they were met with a mix of skepticism and enthusiasm. The news of their achievement had spread like wildfire, but many people struggled to comprehend the significance of what they had accomplished. The brothers knew that they had to convince the world of the importance of their invention, and so they began to demonstrate their flying machine to anyone who would watch. In 1904, the Wright brothers made a series of flights in Dayton, Ohio with their improved Flyer II. These flights were longer and more controlled than their initial attempts, and they helped to establish the Wright brothers as pioneers in the field of aviation. As their reputation grew, so did the interest in their invention. In 1905, the Wright brothers patented their flying machine, and they began to negotiate with governments and investors who were interested in using their technology. One of the most significant events in the history of the Wright brothers' first flight was the demonstration they gave to the U.S. Army in 1908. The Army was interested in using the flying machine for military purposes, and the Wright brothers saw this as an opportunity to showcase their invention. On September 17, 1908, Orville piloted the Flyer, with a U.S. Army lieutenant as his passenger, and they made a series of flights over Fort Myer, Virginia. The demonstration was a huge success, and it marked the beginning of the U.S. military's involvement in aviation. As the years passed, the Wright brothers' achievement became more widely recognized. In 1909, Wilbur traveled to Europe, where he gave demonstrations of the flying machine and helped to establish the first aviation schools. The Wright brothers also continued to improve their design, and they developed new models that were more powerful and more efficient. Today, the Wright brothers' first flight is remembered as a pivotal moment in history. It marked the beginning of a new era in transportation and exploration, and it paved the way for the development of modern aviation. As Wilbur once said, "The desire to fly is an idea handed down to us by our ancestors who, in their grueling travels across trackless lands, looked enviously on the birds soaring freely through space." The Wright brothers' achievement was a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance, and it continues to inspire people around the world. The legacy of the Wright brothers can be seen in the countless airports, airlines, and aircraft that exist today. Their invention has had a profound impact on global commerce, culture, and communication. It has also inspired new generations of innovators and explorers who continue to push the boundaries of what is possible. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.